Hey, welcome to the Attic Static Podcast, where we take your calls and answer your questions about just about anything. Today, we may not be taking live calls today in this episode, but we are going to go through a bunch of stuff here that we think is interesting. We're going to start with...
How about introduction?
Oh, the introduction?
Yes,
I'm Ray.
I'm Adam.
And again, today I'm going to be Gary.
And I'm Johnny.
And I'm Ed.
Wow, they all clapped. All right. Thanks for the reminder.
Crazy having a live audience here.
So we're going to start with today's icebreaker with Gary, who's going to do a movie review for us. So, Gary, take it away.
This was I watched the movie this weekend. Me and my wife watched the movie this weekend. It was probably, it was a very highly rated movie called Cocaine Bear. I wasn't really sure. We're being distracted by Sweet Tarts. I wasn't sure how good this movie was made. I was like, we're going to give it. We have a 10-minute
This isn't
rule.
cocaine, but
And it's really loud.
yeah, maybe we'll do that next time when we're on video.
So we have this 10-minute rule. If we're going to watch a movie, we'll watch 10 minutes, and if we're out of it in 10 minutes, like done. So I was like, this is not going to be a good one.
Which movie was it?
Cocaine Bear.
Cocaine Bear.
I heard great things about that movie, actually.
It was hilarious.
But what percentage was real?
So I did look it up because I remember reading when this movie came out that they said, the movie's basically about this bear that gets into cocaine and goes around killing people, trying to get more cocaine, and just because he's high on cocaine. So the true
Absolutely
story.
hilarious.
Wait, how does he get?
Funny.
How does he get on cocaine?
So I'll tell you the true part, and then where they.
We're going to spoil the movie here, right?
I don't think it's spoiling
no
it.
spoilers.
You can look up what the movie was based off of.
It's an older
of
movie,
like
too.
1985. This guy was smuggling cocaine through an airplane. He was throwing it out the airplane for it to land in a certain area for them people to pick it up or whatever. And then he had like a whole bunch tied to him. When he jumped out of the airplane, because of all this cocaine on him, the parachute didn't open properly, so he landed.
Was he okay?
No, he landed in somebody's driveway. That part is true. A bear found some of the cocaine and went through $20 million worth of cocaine, and they said he probably died within 3 seconds of eating it all.
Of course.
The bear.
The bear. But in the movie, they take the bear, and he lives throughout the movie on cocaine, trying to get more cocaine, running around killing people. And it was,
Sounds funny.
It was hilarious. Brown bear, you pretend to be dead. Black bear, you fight him off. So they're trying to fight off this bear, and he just comes out and just like starts ripping them apart. It was good.
Well, Wholesome Ed is laughing at death and destruction and cocaine. I'd like to know why.
Well, I was kind of chuckling when you were saying about the bear. I just remember when we went out to Yellowstone, the rangers were talking about the bears. And at that time when we were there, we actually had bought bear spray. Well, at least I did.
I gotta
bought
find
bear spray.
I gotta find the picture of you, Ed.
Yeah, so I bought bear spray because the ranger had talked about the difference. He said, "Oh, you folks from the East Coast are used to going around Appalachian Trail and those, eastern coast mountains." And he was explaining how the black bears grow up in a lot of thick brush, a lot of foresty environments, and so their first instinct is hide. And quite often, you're hiking, and they're actually watching you. You just don't know you're being watched by the bears. And they said, unlike the black bears, the grizzly bears grow up in this rocky terrain.
Is grizzly brown bear?
Yeah. Yes.
yes.
Same thing.
Generally, but they said it's not necessarily the color of the fur.
Correct.
They said it could be different, but it's actually a different type of bear, different species. And so they're saying it grows up in a open plain, and a rocky terrain. And so because of that, its first instinct when it is threatened is to fight. And they said it's not the same kind of animal. It's not going to react the same way. And so for that reason, they actually sell this bear spray. But they were very clear. And they had said that when
The bear's on cocaine.
that wasn't clarity. They said this bear repellent is not insect repellent. They told a story about a family who came to visit, and they have sprayed themselves in it, and they were yelling and screaming being heard from the parking lot, and they said, just learn from their mistake.
You don't spray yourself.
Yeah, you don't spray
with
yourself.
bear spray.
Essentially,
pepper spray.
Yeah, essentially it's like mace.
With pepper spray.
It's like mace.
I'm sorry.
And then they said the interesting part too, if you ever use it, you have to use it. The bear has to be at quite a distance because it's spray about 20 or 30 feet. So don't wait till it's really close. You spray at a distance. And they said when you do use it, if you're ever in a situation where you use it,
All up.
No, they said you have to leave the area.
Of course.
Because they said what'll happen is that stuff will go into the air, and they said other bears will just get a little inkling of it, right? And they'll be curious, and then bears will come. So in the immediate area,
Wait, they'll come to because of base bear?
yeah, because they said in the immediate area
party, yeah.
it's too intense, and so the bears will be repelled. right? Because it bothers them. But from far away, once that dissipates, it's a foreign odor, right? It's something foreign to the bears
It's like a
that are at a
pheromone.
distance, so they'll come and check it out. Because what is that? And they'll come. So they said, you got to get out of the area. Don't hang around.
Look at that hat on the floor.
So-
that was Gary.
If this happens around dinner time, you're packing up and moving camp.
Yeah, exactly. You can't hang around. Can't hang around.
Absolutely. So
Okay.
has anybody ever used mace or pepper spray, bear spray, like actually Stern?
No, never.
No. Well, that's no fun.
Training exercise, I used it for a place I used to work, but never actually in real life.
You know what else I wanted to do? I wanted to take. We have like 3 old fire extinguishers in the garage that I wanted to just like take them out and use them because no one ever uses a fire extinguisher.
That I
right?
have. I've sprayed.
Have you ever
fire
used one? You ever used
many
one?
a time?
For
You
training
have.
exercise.
Many a time.
training.
Yeah,
right?
what we did a little training exercise in the dorm sophomore year where Mike was in the shower and with the door shut, and we thought it'd be really cool to put the fire extinguisher hose underneath the door and let her rip. Mike didn't like it too much, but we were laughing so
Man,
In
hard.
the shower, right?
that-
You can
man.
wash it right off.
Well, yeah,
No,
we
that
didn't think it was
makes
a
a
big
mess.
deal, but yeah,
Was it powder or foam? What was it?
it was powder.
Yeah, that
You
makes
didn't get
a
in trouble?
mess.
Lots of coughing. Well, how would we get in trouble? Who would find out about it?
Mike knows now.
Gary.
Nah, Mike preferred to get back at us rather than rat us out.
Yeah, it's more fun that way.
Yeah,
Who's Mike?
I don't know.
old roommate.
Okay.
What's up, Mike?
So yeah, I want to do that one of these days. Take the kids, go outside, and just like this is how it works, right? You talk about it, you see it in school, you see it in the little diagram, but no one ever actually pulls the plug and pulls the trigger, right? So
Yeah.
we should do that. Everybody should do that.
Yeah.
All right. So Gary, that's it on the Cocaine Bear. Great movie,
Can't ruin
funny.
it for anybody, but it was. I was entertained. It made it the whole movie. I made it past 10 minutes.
But
10
like
minutes.
really funny, like hilarious funny.
And you're also the only one here I would even remotely suspect of blowing a line. Have you? Coke. Well, because I know Ed hasn't.
I've had Coca-Cola. That's it. Just Coca-Cola.
I know.
Wait.
I'm pretty sure
Ed
Johnny
was,
has.
I have not.
And
Ed was a
know
little
Ed
crazier
hasn't.
in college. So.
Well, in college, I used to listen to Grandmaster Flash, White Lines, the song, but that's really about it.
that song ended Cocaine Bear.
Did it really?
No lie. No
That
lie.
was a great song.
And you
Yeah.
thought it was just the side of the
But
road.
I couldn't remember who sang it.
at that point.
Well, you know what the funny part is? Growing up, I had no idea what the song was about.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
I
well,
didn't-
I was
I didn't
old.
either.
1985.
Yeah, I
we
didn't
were in
know.
middle school.
I didn't.
You
Right.
didn't know?
I didn't know. Once
Come
I
on.
was in college, I was like, oh, is that what it's about? I just remember the song
Oh
being
my
like a cool
goodness!
song.
Come
I didn't know what it was
on.
about until today.
What?
Yeah.
White line.
Never. No idea.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness!
Grandmaster Flash. and
Don't you
Furious
love
Five.
how Gary dodged that question?
Yeah, Gary.
I did not. I've never done it.
Gary's on coke right
He
now.
was like amazed you even thought he did it. Don't you see the
Well,
look on
no,
his
I
face?
said the only one I would remotely think who ever tried it.
I'm proud of you, Gary.
Among this
I
crew.
would, knowing Ed, I wouldn't have been surprised during college.
No, I did
No, but
not.
I thought you
I
might
have
have
not.
tried it to,
I have
like,
not.
get a 198 mile or
Only
something like
Coca-Cola.
Which would be 238, but still fantastic.
So speaking of movies, right? We didn't have the similar. We had a similar experience. So we were watching. Who's the Weird Al?
Cocaine
movie.
Kangaroo.
The,
That
That
was
was
a great
hilarious.
movie.
the
Great
new
movie.
the new one.
The mockumentary.
right? And, but Wei and I had the opposite experience. Like we started watching it. It was late, but after like I don't know 20 minutes or something, we were like, I can't watch this
If
anymore.
you
We
did
turned
some
it off.
cocaine first, it would have been better.
Yeah.
I thought that.
You turned off the
guys
Weird
see-
Al movie?
Did you see
Yeah.
it? It was hilarious.
It was hilarious. Are you kidding me?
No, I just couldn't
Did you
get.
understand it was a
I
mockumentary?
didn't
You're
even
also
know it
talking to
existed.
somebody
What's it
who
called?
couldn't get into Breaking Bad.
You're getting old,
don't
dude.
remember.
Wait, what's it called, Ray? I didn't even know it existed. What's
It was
called?
on
called Weird? I don't know.
Roku. It's
Weird.
on Roku.
The untold true
Oh,
story.
Roku? Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
but you can still get it for free.
Wait, and Ed, you didn't get into Breaking Bad either.
I watched Breaking Bad.
Oh, you did? Okay.
It was
No,
very,
that was
very
a-
intense.
that was
very
good
intense.
series.
One of you watched it and gave up on it.
I did.
Yeah, that was a
Same
good
thing, like
series.
two episodes, and then
Best
just,
Breaking Bad
television
was something
ever.
though. It
Yes.
was slow. If you,
I don't
you had
know
to get
about
it-
that.
There was times like I don't know if I want to watch anymore, and then it gets back into it. That was a great show.
but I can tell you
Great
the same experience. Like so, we were gonna. I think you, Ed, were saying watch The Walking Dead, right?
Yes.
But you gotta like get through the beginning, like get over the whole zombie thing.
Yes.
And then it becomes a cool like survival show, right?
Yes.
So we suffered, right, to make sure we got through it because of that of what you said, right?
Did you like it?
Yeah, I liked it, but I didn't do that with Breaking Bad.
So with Breaking Bad, for me, it was the same thing. Like I had no, real interest in the storyline, you know, what he was doing, all this illegal stuff. But I thought what was neat and interesting is how you had this guy who supposedly was the hero, and then through the seasons, he kind of becomes, at least to me, the bad guy. And the guy that was the punk kid,
Yeah. Becomes the
bad
good
guy,
one. Yep,
I was rooting for him at the end.
Yeah.
And so that was pretty darn cool. I was like, wow, you know, that they can change that whole thing around.
I
And
thought
that
what was
neat.
interesting is that there was almost, unlike Weeds, there was almost no genuinely likable characters in Breaking Bad until maybe Jesse at the end. But still, it was captivating.
Maybe that's why we
Weeds?
didn't-
Anyone
I
make it
didn't-
through Weeds?
Yes, that was good.
Not at all.
Never heard of it.
Weeds is like
I heard of it,
Breaking
never
Bad
saw it.
light, and all the characters are fantastic.
But you know, I'll tell you, I don't know you guys, but all these shows we're talking about, I watched them after they were done.
Oh,
You
yeah.
could watch multiple episodes at a time, because if
Yes.
you actually watch it live, I can seem like this is too boring to go wait in next week.
Not
Yeah, can't
not
do it.
But not boring like us. Like we're not boring live. Those would be boring live.
We're not at all.
Right.
We're like doing cocaine.
We're fucking
thrilling.
The only shows that we saw live that I thought, wow, I can't wait till the
Well,
next
when we
season.
say live, we just mean
Well,
Like, it's
one,
currently
one
real-
episode at a
real
time.
Real
Yeah,
time.
real
Yeah,
time, and
okay.
it's currently in the middle. You're waiting for the next season.
Yeah.
Was actually Ted Lasso, because I heard so many good things about it, and I was like so captivated by season 1. I'm like, wow, this is
Ted
so
Lasso?
positive. Yeah, Ted Lasso.
overrated.
Let's get into this
You think
conversation.
so?
There
We
are
just,
too
we
many
just
paid
did it for
services.
Succession.
Good, but overrated. Yeah.
Did you watch Succession?
I did not watch the.
No.
We did that. We had to wait every week. It was brutal. I hate it.
I think
Imagine
is it-
that.
is it
waiting
done
every
now?
week.
Yeah, it's done.
And
it was
what-
only four seasons.
Any good?
Yeah, it was good. It was interesting because it reminded me of a scenario that's existing in real time.
What's the plot?
What?
I
Isn't that
believe
based off of
I
real
believe it's
people?
supposed to be, and if I'm completely wrong, I apologize to listen, but it seems like it was like CNN, whoever owns a big corporation, media corporation, like a CNN,
Like Fox or CNN.
right? Fox. And what happened is the owner is from day one, they're figuring out how he's going to leave it to either his kids or the board, or if it's going to get bought out, and the whole thing has to do with succession. How is it's going to be moved on to someone else because it's huge, right?
Got it. Not what I was thinking. I
Yeah,
was thinking like
it's very
when you
interesting.
level
But
land,
it's short.
you
It's
get
only
Succession, and the green stuff comes in.
Yeah, it's
First
only
the
4
grasses, then the red
seasons.
cedars, then the oaks. Okay, a little different.
But we did that, and it is kind of like I could see if you're not into a series and you have to wait till the next, you could easily occupy your time with something else.
So I'm curious, what TV episode or shows, series would you guys say that you've seen with your kids or nieces or nephews that you enjoyed the most, that you probably wouldn't have watched as a grown-up, but you think to yourself, man, this is a really good show. I'm glad I'm
So
watching it.
I don't watch any shows with nieces, nephews, and I don't have kids. But me and Janice watched those on our own together.
Okay, which
like
one?
we just started watching Bluey.
Bluey. I haven't seen
Bluey?
that. What's that one about? Is it animated?
You
or
thought that was about
live
something
action?
I
else.
don't know. It came up. It's about these Australian dogs for kids, and we watched a few episodes, and we thought it was pretty funny.
So it's live action, not animated.
No, it's animated.
Oh, it's animated. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
I don't know. She got into it.
About-
She turned on like, this is stupid. I'm like, this is funny. We watched like 3 or 4 episodes.
Is it Nickelodeon or Disney or?
I don't know. Oh, Disney. I think it's
Oh,
Disney. I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
How about you, Johnny, in particular?
I don't watch it with others, but I could say I have watched every episode of Law and Order like 40 times. I just watch it over and over and over. I just love Law and Order. I don't know what it is about it, but I watch it, and now Jennifer's into it, and all Jennifer's in, put Law and Order. She sits down on the couch, put Law and Order. Dun, dun. That's it. And it's just like over and over because they're way ahead of their time. They had every topic, every different scenario you could think of, and a lot of stuff in real crime comes up every day, similar to what they were doing.
I think that show was all based off of things that were really happening.
At the starting, I was about to say that. So
Yeah.
at the start of the first few seasons was that, and they would actually put it on the screen, but afterward it just became like a spin-off of current events. But I don't know why, I just loved that show.
How about you guys? What did you like watching with your kids?
It was when my kids were a little bit older, and it wasn't a series, and it was pushing the limits a little bit. But Captain Fantastic,
That's a movie, right?
yeah, it was a movie, not multiple episodes. Although I'd love to see the prequel to it, and a sequel maybe.
Captain Fantastic.
I'm trying to
You
think.
don't watch TV.
I don't watch TV, but I feel like there was something that we watched.
Yeah, but you're the one who told me about not Breaking Bad, about
The zombie
with the
thing.
zombies. and you were saying, "Oh, you got to watch it. You got to watch it."
The Walking Dead.
I liked it.
Walking Dead.
I liked
Yeah,
it a
Walking
lot.
Dead.
Like I liked
Yeah.
the survival aspect
Yeah.
of it, right? It got really good, right? And there was tons of conflict between the people, you know, within their own groups, with other groups, you know, competing for food and all this stuff. It was really good.
But-
It was well done.
Let's
So
do.
if we-
Let's
if we-
go to total. Oh, sorry. Finish that
No,
thought.
but let's
then
get
I got
into
another
something.
idea.
Probably at that time you were deep into managing people, and it was like that dynamic, right? You saw the insight to it.
Well,
or no?
you, I don't think I related it to work. I don't,
No.
or to the people that I work with. But I just thought it was it could have been a show without the zombies. Like it could have been
Yep.
the same show without that. And
All
it
you
would
need
have
is an
still been-
element that they were kind of opposed against.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
that
and
they fight
overcoming it.
This
Maybe like
const-
a cocaine bear.
Right.
Could have been, but in this case it wasn't.
Guys, I'm getting a little bored. Let's speed this up. Let's do a lightning round. I'm going to ask a question, and
Okay.
then you each have to go in order, give an answer instantly. Okay?
All right,
So
we
I'm
still
going to
on
ask a
TV? Okay, go
question,
ahead.
then I'm going to go, Ed, you're going to give an answer, then I go, Johnny, you answer, Gary, you answer.
And like
got
a
more
one
time.
word answer.
One word answer.
One word.
Oh, I don't.
Okay,
so-
ready. What is your favorite color? Ed,
Green.
Johnny,
Blue.
Gary,
Blue.
red,
Green.
Oh wait, come back to me.
Gary.
Plaid.
Excellent. Okay, next question.
Is that because it's Spaceballs?
Next question. Okay, we'll go in reverse order this time. So it'll be Ray, Gary, Johnny, Ed.
What about you? You didn't answer. What was your favorite question or your favorite?
I don't
color?
have to answer. I'm asking. Okay, Ray.
Gray.
I am thinking of a number from 1 to 15. What is it?
14.
No.
7.
Gary. No.
Yeah.
8. No.
Pie.
Ed, no.
Pie is the best. It can be anything you want. If you're hungry, it could be pizza pie, right? If
Apple
you need
pie?
to swim, right, it could be an octopi. If you want to fly, it could be magpie.
He thought about this.
It could be all
That's
kinds of different
amazing.
things. You know,
Sure,
it's
but it was a
great.
number between 1 and 15. That can't be an octopi.
Well, if you're on date night,
Four
you got
might
cutie
do it.
pie.
Wait, but
You know, it's
octopi-
No, I
everything.
wasn't even thinking of a number, so that way you'd all be wrong for certain, you know?
Octopi's 8. No?
Yeah.
Between 1 and 15.
Right. So
Could be.
But that wasn't the number I was thinking of.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, next question. Ed.
Yes.
What is your favorite spice?
Sriracha. I don't know
Johnny.
if that counts as a spice.
Pepper.
Gary.
I don't have one.
Right.
Cinnamon.
Wrong.
One of the best ones. Very good for arthritis.
Cinnamon.
Cinnamon.
See that?
Very,
no,
very underrated.
And look,
Okay.
I don't have
Turmeric too,
arthritis.
but also
And
cinnamon.
there we
I
go.
do.
It's got a lot of good things.
Must be-
Blood sugar too.
That's the nice.
Yeah.
That's
Absolute
that's a
proof.
good lead-in. Anyone got the early signs of arthritis? Johnny, where you got arthritis?
Johnny's had it since he was 12.
I was born with it.
Doesn't count. 12 years old now. Ed,
Sorry.
Yes.
where you got it?
In that neck thing that you had.
Yeah, the neck
Right.
thing that I had.
But that's like from a prior thing in life. That's not just like a purely aging thing.
No, it was multiple injuries. Dumb things you do when you're younger.
Yeah, you used to be a headbanger. I know.
So you never finished on that. What? How'd you get this neck thing?
So
He was born with it, actually.
No.
And you got a neck too.
That doesn't even deserve a but I'm done.
I think it does. There
I
it is.
just said.
Yeah. No, it's actually from
ahead.
it's from poor choices in life. And so I'll share because part of the idea of the podcast is not just sharing successes, but sharing failures and bad choices. And so I made a couple of bad choices in life, and I think to myself, I'm sure those things were factors. There's no question.
Well, what were the bad
What'd you do?
choices?
So one time when I was in high school, we went to a water park, and there's a sign that says "No going down head first."
Well, obviously.
So
How old were you?
I'm in high school.
So that's interpreted as go down head
Teenager.
first.
Yeah. So of course, as soon as the lifeguard's head is turned, I just zip down real quick on my head.
course.
My head on my stomach. I'm like, this is great. They don't know what they're talking about, and I paid the price.
When you hit the water.
So when I hit the water, I hit it. My head was slammed back, and I just felt this electric shock go down both arms, both legs, down my fingers and toes, and I floated there face down for a moment, thinking, "Oh my God, that was so dumb." Right? This is so stupid. Why did I do that? So I just floated. I was scared to move. So I just kind of floated.
Were you thinking you're a quad at that point?
I was
Or
pretty
dead,
scared. I was
yeah.
pretty scared. And so it took a few seconds and the electric feeling kind of went away. And so then I kind of let my feet kind of go down, because you're in the kind of waiting pool, where there's
Right,
things.
right.
And so I just kind of tiptoed over to the wall and I just hung out there being very grateful that I could
And no
wiggle
one
my
kicked you out?
fingers. Well, I guess they didn't notice, or maybe they realized that I was just scared, and they're like, "Serves you right, buddy."
That's right.
Which is probably punishment itself.
Wow.
So I just stayed there for about 5 minutes, just being grateful.
So
Right,
I'm
that I
gonna
could
I'm gonna not count that arthritis either because it was from an injury
One
at
time?
17.
Well, no, that was one. But then the second time, we're actually in college, and you guys were there. I don't
Too young.
remember. So we're playing football with these grown men. They're probably in mid to late 20s.
Grown man in college.
Wait, behind
In
the
college.
behind the river dorms?
Some like big grass field, might have been.
Yeah.
And there was just one really big ripped dude.
You
And
mean me?
no, not you. on the other team. And he was running at us, and everyone got out of his way. And I thought to myself,
I'm the hero.
I could take him.
I'm the hero.
we're not going to let these guys just walk all over us. So I went full speed right at him, and I tackled him. And I remember when I tackled him,
You had numbness all the way through your arms.
I couldn't feel my arms. I got up, and you guys were like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" I can't.
I was there. I don't think I
You
was
were
there.
there. You said, "I can't believe you tackled that dude," and I was like, "Oh yeah, no problem." and I'm sitting there thinking, it's a good thing no one high fived me because I couldn't lift my arms. I couldn't lift my arms.
Wow.
I think I had a concussion. I had like ringing in my ears, and it was just a dumb choice.
I don't
Why did
know
do
about that. You got him down. I'm just going to say that it was an unfortunate ending, and that was a good choice.
No, probably a bad choice.
You're telling me he would have scored if you didn't step up
Did
and
we
make
win?
the tackle.
I don't know if we won. I think it was pretty close, but he did not score. He was down.
That's fantastic. You still don't get credit for the arthritis, Gary.
I got to wait,
Age-related arthritis.
wait, but before Gary, I have to say something about you said about the water park. Something proud but stupid. We got thrown out of Action Park 3 times. So if you see that special and how crazy it was, and all
Class
that,
Action Park.
we got thrown out of Action.
So
You're
what's
that crazy.
What's
That
amazing
crazy.
is they let you back in twice. Because if you do it right, they put your photo in the admission booth, and that's how I couldn't go to Great Adventure for 10 years.
I never saw
real?
a
Yes.
picture
you
section
do?
at Action Park,
I stood up on Rolling Thunder because it was fucking boring.
but we did some
didn't do that.
crazy stuff there. But we did. We got thrown out.
Thrown out three
times.
times on the same day or 3 different
No,
days?
3 different occasions.
Nice.
Okay.
And they stopped Rolling Thunder right at the top.
Just for you.
I thought
'Cause you were
something was
standing?
wrong. No, it was just for me. Yeah. I'm important like that. Gary, age-related
Gary.
arthritis. What you got? Any?
Running related arthritis?
Ed, I'll need to lean on Ed for this. I have hallux rigidus.
Yes.
Is that arthritis?
Yes, it's a kind of form of the joint starts to change at the big toe. So
Yeah, my big toes don't work.
What are they supposed to do?
You use your big toe. So your big toe is used to push off.
yes.
To balance, right?
Well, when you run or walk, you push off your big toe.
Maybe that's the secret.
also
Cut my
balance.
big toe off and I can run a 4-minute mile.
I can't.
No.
So I have one of my big toes is 99% frozen. The other one's probably 80% frozen.
So the joint just solidifies?
So what
Oh,
winds
it
up
hurts.
happening?
It hurts.
Yeah, with hallux rigidus is you lose extension and what they call hyperextension, meaning when you bend your toe, right? That's called flexion, and then when you're bringing it back up to a straight position, that's extension, and as you go beyond that, hyperextension. So you lose the ability to do that. So normally, say you're down like a lineman or one of those sprinters into sprinting blocks, right? And that joint is normally in a hyperextended position. You can't really do that. It hurts. So your foot's sort of going to turn out. So because you can't do this, it does this. It turns out
What he said.
to avoid that hyperextended position.
So mine
Right.
won't even go. My big toe on one foot's not even flat, not even level. It will only go down.
Like just hanging? Like it's-
Well, I have to
No,
bend it
it's
to bring
like
it
stepping
bring
on
it
the
level.
accelerator. So
Yeah.
when did that start?
When did I start noticing a problem from it? It's probably something I've had since probably back in college. I had all these issues related to it. I just didn't realize that's what it was. And it got really bad when it started hurting when I was around 40. I couldn't even put a shoe on without pain. And then 4 or so years ago, I was running and my feet hurt really bad after a run. And I'm like, I think I bruised my feet. And then like a week later, they're still hurting really bad, and I couldn't run and I couldn't walk. So this went on for like 3 months. You know, I was doing some
you
stuff.
didn't walk for 3 months?
I couldn't. I was on my hands.
Oh, my
You ever see those
God.
animals like the bears,
Yeah.
cocaine bears.
No running? You must have blown up like a tick.
No, I did not. I did get, for me, heavy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I couldn't run I was still going to gym. I do whatever I can, cross train, but cross training sucks. But anyway, 3 months later, I'm like, this still hurts. I think I mentioned this. We went on vacation, and she's like, can we go on vacation? I'm like, well, we're going. So we went to Colorado and we did all our hiking, and I
That's a
couldn't.
vacation?
It hurt.
That is definitely a vacation.
That is her vacation, and I go along with it.
Okay.
But
Johnny, you're looking at two people here who routinely kick their own asses on vacation.
I did that on
Yeah,
purpose.
They're not
you need a
really
vacation from
vacation.
vacation,
I
right?
did that on purpose for Rick.
So anyway, 3 months later,
Absolutely.
still have lots of pain, can't run, hurts walking. Go see a specialist. And the thing, they have to take all these X-rays and MRIs. They're like, how do you run? I'm like, what do you mean? It's like, well, your big toes don't work. I'm like, and? So they say, well, when you and Edwin knows, when you run, you go through the motion, your big toe pushes off, your big toes don't work, so you go all the way up, and then you come back down because you can't use them. So you're going over your plantar plate, which you have on your hand as well, and it's where your fascia attaches. You tore both of your plantar plates. I'm like, all right.
So what does that mean?
I thought you said running was a good thing.
Well, it's a good thing, but anything could be bad, right? In
So-
moderation.
Yeah.
But anyway,
So
what
this
happened?
is kind of like an arthritic thing causing something even worse.
Yeah.
So so arthritis, there's a lot of different forms of arthritis. So hallux rigidus is something different. I think what you're thinking about when you say arthritis is you're probably thinking of osteoarthritis, which people
Yes,
usually think
which is
about. I'm
what?
getting older.
Bones, joints.
Yeah, osteoarthritis, essentially what it is, it's wearing out of the cartilage cap on your bones, right? We have this hyaline cartilage lining on the end of our bones. And so when two bones come together to make a joint, right, and the bones articulate this way, they're covered
That's my
with a
problem.
cap, and that cap is hyaline cartilage, a type of cartilage.
That's the-
And so when that wears out, very much like the eraser on a pencil, you use the pencil, after a while the eraser kind of whittles down, right? Wear and tear on that cartilage starts to get deformed. You have imperfections, either little divots, little cracks, right? That cartilage is no longer pristine. And that wearing out of that cartilage is referred to as osteoarthritis. Most folks, when they say arthritis, generically speaking, that's what they're talking about. It's associated with as you get older.
So, Gary, let me translate for you. Ed just disqualified you. That's not arthritis. It doesn't count.
I don't have this
No,
arthritis then.
no, but that's something that's going to limit this joint movement. It's
broke
going to
his-
have joint changes associated
Think of
with
the
it.
eraser instead of whittling down, swelling all the way up permanently and never coming back down.
But it's specific to that joint.
Actually, when the erasers get really old and they're hard
Yeah.
and you try to erase
That's
it,
what
it
I
makes a
have.
black mark. That's what he has.
Yeah.
Right?
I
the
got that.
petrified, those petrified erasers.
But it's from running.
No. No, but
So
Well, it started with the big
it's just
toe
like-
thing,
I'm
not
sure
the
the running exaggerated it,
Right.
but it didn't give it to me.
I'm messing.
So what gives it to you?
yeah. So what winds up happening?
Hereditary?
my
Yeah, Ed, is that a hereditary thing with the
Yeah.
big toe?
Yeah. So what winds up happening is whenever you're doing the same mechanical stresses, whatever it might be,
Running.
factory work, sitting at a computer, running, swimming, right? What winds up happening is your body is undergoing that same mechanical stress, right? It's no different than any other machine, right? It's no different than if you got the fork or the spoon and you just keep bending it the same way constantly, right? Eventually that same mechanical stress is going to wear it out quicker, right? Than if you put a different force, maybe a compressive force or
Okay, Johnny, you can
tension
laugh.
force.
Right.
So-
What
I
you
just
got?
always mess with him.
So it's a
because,
factor.
Running is his passion, but a lot of people say it's not the best thing in the world. But usually, people who run will swear, "No, it's not. It's not bad for you."
There's plenty of studies showing how. I mean, listen, if you have a biomechanical issue, and you do running or anything else, if you have a biomechanical issue, you ride a bike, you can make it. You're going to make it worse.
Yeah.
But it's not going to create the problem.
Right. But at the same time, the whole time that you're being active, you're also doing all kinds of beneficial things for your body, right?
Correct.
You're increasing, your cardiovascular capacity. You're decreasing, all these other issues, that would otherwise be problematic, right? You're
But
increasing-
there's one thing that running has brought on that's caused probably the biggest problem for me because I run so much and I run so fast, wind erosion. I have no more hair.
It's from the wind, right?
Yeah.
But
It makes you more aerodynamic then, right? So it's
Right.
yeah, it goes even faster. Well, that's the thing too. You got to think about other people here, Gary. So the other, I'd say, positive benefit of you running is all the people driving by saying, "Oh my God, you see how fast that dude was going?"
yeah.
Right? I mean, you're making their day.
2-minute mile.
I
That's,
get a lot of honks.
Oh well, that's
Get out of the road.
that's because you're a gorgeous dude.
Is that from the glare? I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, Ray. You got any arthritis
Do I have
in
any
your old
arthritis?
age here? Anything coming on?
I think
on your knee?
I think Adam's
Not
talking
on
about
your knee?
osteoarthritis.
Osteoarthritis.
That's probably what he's talking about.
So
that was repaired. No,
So the knee
no
that was-
lingering issues.
So the knee, had the ACL repaired, no lingering issues. It's been amazing for a bunch of years. I will say that in the past month, my knees bother me a little bit
Pickleball.
when I play too much pickleball.
I don't know
Probably,
if you want to tell this
right?
story, but this is one of the funny stories you ever told me.
Uh-oh.
And I'm pretty sure when you had your knee surgery, when you went into I guess you came out of. The
Oh, that
surgery.
story?
You want to talk about that?
You know this story.
I know
right?
this
So
story.
could you
I
come
know
out and you're like, I have a talking nurse, I have a stomach ache, Well, I don't know. What do you do? And this went on for hours. I have a stomach ache. Can you tell us the story?
I don't know if you want to say it. He might be.
No,
pissed.
come on, this is funny. But it's funny the way you tell it.
That was an inside dad joke.
That was an inside dad joke.
Well, with
After you
with
share it,
Gary's
everyone else will get it.
with Gary's number 2 story, Deucing on the Track. I think right.
So
you owe us this one.
So look, okay. So I had my my
His
AC.
story will be number 1.
Yeah, my story's number 1. So I had the ACL replaced, right, which involved not going under completely, but going. I think I got an epidural to numb the lower half of my body, right. So go through the surgery. They do the whole thing, titanium screws, like we talked about, and I'm in the outpatient, waiting area, right. They're just like, just sit here, once you go to the bathroom, then you can leave for the day, right. So I'm sitting there for I don't know how long, at least an hour, 2 hours. And at some point I start getting stomach pains, right? So ignore it like we always do, right? It's just a stomach pain, but it keeps getting worse and worse. So eventually I start bugging the nurses like, hey, my stomach's starting to bother me. I don't know what's going on. And they're like, well, they have no idea, right? So they ignore me. I ignore it. It keeps getting worse. Then they start giving me aspirin or like whatever, painkillers, right? Like, oh, maybe this will help. So they give me something. I take it and I'm thinking like, oh, it's probably been like 15 minutes, and it's really hurting still. Like this isn't working. I look and somehow I look and it's been like an hour and a half, right?
Wow.
And it's really hurt. So now I'm really lots of pain, like more pain than I think about, like where you can't sit still, writhing around in the bed, bugging everybody, right? Finally, I'm like, you need to get a doctor in here, right? So they finally get a doctor in here. He comes in, he's looking at me and he's like, did you go to the bathroom yet? Since surgery? It's been like 4 hours, right? And I said, no. And he's like, oh, he's like, you got to take a leak, right? And I can't because I'm still completely numb.
So
right?
what's keeping the cap on it? What's keeping the lid on it?
No idea. So he just says, look, the only thing I can do for you is get a catheter out and pop the balloon. And he's like, and I'm like, you got to do it, man. This is the most pain I've ever been in my life. He puts that thing in. It was amazing.
Like Niagara Falls.
It was.
Wish that waterfall soundbite.
Listen.
Hey, so on top of it, you didn't even feel the catheter going in.
No,
It sounds like it's painful, but you didn't
feel anything. Half an hour later, everything's okay. Fine. Okay, you can leave, right? Hey, I got to go to the bathroom again. Walk myself over to the thing, go into the stall, and after a catheter goes through, that was the most painful
Yes, I've heard of
leak
that.
I've ever had. It's everything scarred.
You were able
and
to
ripped
stay?
up.
Most of the people that I know, they fall backwards, pee on themselves. Oh my God. It's that painful. Yeah, it's that painful.
No.
Then they're really pissed.
So you got to sit down for that.
The pain in the stomach was the most painful thing I'd ever had until I took a leak after the catheter, and then that was the most
Yes.
painful thing ever. So
Yes.
2 within
I've
an
heard
hour,
that.
and
I've heard that.
it was off the charts.
Oh,
like to see
and that's
the
why you're
pictures of somebody
careful.
going all
That's why you're so careful with the knee now.
Jennifer's brother.
You're going to go through that again. Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to get your ACL replaced
yeah,
because
so
that's going to happen, and it's horrible.
This is
Yeah.
the trick, right? So I've like 6, 7 different people, same story. They pass the stone. You're in the hospital and you're still numbed up. They tell you to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
You go to the bathroom. So you're like, oh, this is not that bad. A little tingly, whatever. But now at night, you wake up, all that stuff is done. You're at your house.
No
and
more.
you think,
No more
I went
painkiller.
at the
Right.
hospital, I'm fine. And you just let loose. And all of a sudden it's like peeing all over the walls, like dramatic. Like 6 or 7 people have told me the same
Holy
stories.
cow.
Like, so if you ever pass a stone,
Sit down.
yes,
So
like
that-
say 2 or 3 days, I'm gonna get ready for this pain. It's pretty
Be
amazing.
dehydrated.
Yeah, don't drink
I could
anything.
imagine what you went through, bro.
But yes, that was a good one.
The other interesting thing, like I've had a whole bunch of operations, and when you do the operation, they give you the
button.
the button with the morphine drip,
yeah.
right? So every time I used to go to the operation, Jennifer would go with Nikki. She'd get me my food from the Thai place, my favorite Thai place. And the second time I had the operation, I had just hit the button when Nikki and Jennifer walk in. And it's like, that puts you out like immediately. Like not just it's like literally 5 seconds. You hit it, you're like.
So it's like anesthesia, pretty much.
It's your happy place like that, right?
Wow.
So she walks in, hey babe, how you doing? I got you your fish, a whole red snapper. I was like, yeah, babe, put it there, and you guys can leave. I had just hit the button. She's like, we just got here. We have to get parking. We've been here. It took us like 2 hours to get here. I'm like, yeah, thanks for coming.
And you're out.
I'm
for,
leaving.
You're out for how long?
Morphine.
Like hours.
Nah, like an hour and a half.
Wow.
Hour and a half. But
So-
they only let you do it every 13 minutes. So every 13 minutes, you're able to hit the button.
Wait.
Seems like a lot.
Wait. If you're out for an hour and a half.
No, meaning, so like if you're in real pain, it won't put you out.
Oh.
It won't put you out, but it won't let you hit it twice.
Oh, I
Only
see.
Got
once.
I see.
So I'm at the dentist.
Best thing in the world.
I'm 29 years old, and I got my first cavity. And I'm thinking, I'm trying to look at the
First
bright.
cavity at 29?
Yeah, trying to look at the bright side of it. And the bright side of it is, I remember these stories of grammar school kids. You get the gas and they fix your cavity. So the dentist says, okay, well, come back because this is just the regular cleaning. Made an appointment for 2 weeks. Get my cavity taken care of. Pulls out a needle. I said, what? What are you doing? He said, oh, going to give you Novocaine because this hurts. Novocaine? Want to get the gas? He's like, no. I'm like, well, I want the gas. I feel ripped off. I've never had this any time in my life. He's like, well, we haven't used it in a while, and I don't even think it's full.
So he farted?
I guess.
I don't. No, he might have, but it didn't smell. I didn't notice anything. But I got up and I'm like, dude, well, fill the gas tank and I'll come back. Because the cavity wasn't like, it hurt. It wasn't killing me. I'll come back. So 2 weeks later, now it's a month after the first cleaning, I go back. And they have the gas. I'm like, great. So they put, and you guys have, anyone had the gas?
No.
For wisdom teeth.
Okay. So they put a mask kind of over your nose, and they say, if it's getting too strong, breathe through your mouth more. If you're feeling pain, breathe through your nose.
Wait, you weren't out? It wasn't the kind of gas to put you out?
No, you don't go
No,
out.
it doesn't.
Oh,
put
then
you.
I never had that.
Well,
no.
yeah,
I never had
not,
that.
Not quite. So if you breathe through your 100% through your nose deeply for a few minutes, it kind of puts you out. So what happened was it was a time warp of maybe like 30 seconds with incredibly vivid dreams. I inhaled a lot. And I'm done. And how long was that? It was almost an hour. Wow. I don't know where the time went. So, okay, thank you very much. Get back in the car. I'm driving home and I'm not feeling good. Like, I think I inhaled too much. So I'm at a red light. I'm like, oh God, it's coming.
Oh my God.
I open the door
And
puke on the road, big splashes, and I know there's like stomach acid and puke, and was splashing on the car. I'm like, oh great, it's gonna eat through the paint. Guy behind me's honking the horn because by now the light's green, but he just saw it puked all over the road.
You probably think you're drunk.
Yeah. Oh, probably thinks I am pissed drunk, but I'm not. I'm just hurting. But as soon as you get it out, felt good. Drove on home and haven't had a cavity since.
So I had the opposite experience.
One cavity in your life?
Yeah.
Nice.
So I probably had cavities in every tooth in my mouth, and probably starting at 8 or 9 years old. And I used to get so many and my mom would take us to the dentist only after school. Like she'd never take us out of school, so it would always be after school. It'd be late. It was long. It was it was like an hour drive, and we wouldn't get home till 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock at night. And if I got cavities in Novocaine, then I couldn't eat, right? So I'm starving till 8 or 9 o'clock or whatever it was. So I got to the point where I was telling the dentist, like, can we do this without the Novocaine? Because I don't want to,
Eat.
So he
How old were you?
probably early teens, like 12, 13, 14, or whatever.
Both
So he would basically say, well, this one's a small one. I can do that one. We'd try that one. And I would hold onto the chair and he would count. I'm going to drill for 10 seconds. He'd be counting out loud and drilling. And it was like, it's crazy painful, but it goes away fast.
And Ray's just thinking lasagna.
Yeah.
Lasagna.
Was it worse
That's
for the
amazing.
drilling without Novocaine or the catheter, having to have the catheter put
Oh, the catheter blew them all away.
Wow.
The pee after the catheter, not the catheter itself. That was still painful.
So really, the drilling you took that without
because it came and went. Like it was
Yeah.
there and it just goes. It's gone.
And it's going to be gone.
and they're counting it down,
Yeah.
like when it's going to end, right? Which it reminds me of the other story we could talk about when I had my ingrown toenail cut out by the. Oh, you weren't there. It was I had an ingrown toenail. We were on a backpacking trip in Montana, and it was getting really bad from all the hiking, bleeding, all this stuff. Like I couldn't walk anymore. So we found this what do you call it, podiatrist in some little town in Montana. And I was like, hey, can you do something with this toe? Because I can't walk anymore. And I got another week of backpacking here. So he says yes. He puts me in the chair. No Novocaine, no nothing. Takes out a Dremel, right? That's what he's got. And he just cuts this thing out of my foot. I'm holding the chair, like
Nice.
shaking, like it was crazy. That might have actually been more painful than the catheter thing.
It's where you're at too.
And
But
then
they wouldn't do
you
that in
found
New
out he
Jersey.
was kind of a serial killer with a dungeon in his basement, and only because you had
Yeah.
Howie
Either that
with
or
you
he
did you
really
escape.
wanted to test
Yeah.
it his whole life, and he found a guinea pig. He's like, hey, this guy's gonna.
Yeah, it worked. But yeah, it was just the same old Dremel you buy at Home Depot or
So-
Lowe's, right? And you just
When he cut it out, did the pain linger, or that was it? It was gone.
no, we wrapped it up, and it was a little sore for a couple days, and then we finished, another 40 miles of backpacking or whatever it was.
So I learned an interesting trick years ago from an old podiatrist. So at the very beginnings of an ingrown toenail, sounds like yours is pretty far gone, but in the very beginning, what you can do on the top of your nail is cut an inverted triangle
Yeah.
on the top of your toenail. And if it's the very beginnings, it'll kind of work its way out.
Out.
And that's
Yeah.
because of, and you might be able to elaborate a little more, Adam, in engineering, when you're looking at an arch, that top block is key.
The keystone.
Right?
Keystone.
Because it's cut on an angle and it's going to give it its strength. So when you remove that inverted triangle that you're cutting out from the toe, it grows up to fill that out. So your ingrown toenails.
Ed, remember you told me that I gave you the advice about your tire?
Oh, yeah.
You said that at one of his parties. I did it, and I've never had one again.
Oh, great.
Excellent.
That works for it? Yeah, yeah.
I remember the story. You,
cut-
said it
you
at
cut
his
your
party.
toenail?
Yeah, cut it the right way.
Inverted
Why didn't you
triangle.
ever tell me this? I wouldn't have had to get the Dremel thing done.
It was too late. It was already ingrown and
Yeah.
bloody.
Maybe you were
old
sharing
by
that. Yeah,
then.
maybe you were sharing it, and then I was
But
thinking,
you
could've
said
done
it at one of his parties,
yeah.
and I was always having Jennifer mess with it, and I started to mess with it, and it's true what he says. You cut it this way, the nail wants to grow this way,
Yeah.
not that.
So that's kind of peaceful,
Inverted
painless
triangle,
one. Let's
yeah.
get back to more bloody stuff. The first time we went on a long run, we said, you know what? There's this reservoir nearby. Let's run around the whole thing. And it was about 12, 13 miles.
yeah.
We're in good shape. I'm like, all right, let's do it. And we did it. And my toenails got black. And when your toenails are black, it's because the nail bed was kind of lifted just a little bit on each footstep.
Usually, when you get black toenails from running, it's because your shoes are too small,
Yeah.
or they could be too long, and your feet are actually slapping. But it's usually for one of those. It's usually wrong shoes.
That's probably what it was. Now, if your toenail goes black, it'll self cure. It will take almost a year, but it will just grow out eventually. But what you can do, because there's pressure building up on it, you can light a paper clip, unfold the paper clip, light it, put it right in the middle of your nail, and it will melt through your nail and relieve the pressure.
So I've never done that. I've taken the bobby pin and just spin it around until it gets through, and then it just shoots the stuff right through the middle.
You get
It's
like
awesome.
pus shooting out?
It's the best feeling.
Yeah, but what you can do, if you heat it first,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
just
yeah.
melts right through.
We would heat it to do it, but you still it takes a long time
All right,
spinning.
well, since we're doing a wrap up now, Ed,
All of that is
recommended
from-
or not?
all of
No,
that
not
is
recommended.
from
Go see your
running.
podiatrist.
Which is very good for you, by the way. All of that is from running,
Yeah.
but it's very good for you.
I don't know how sanitary the paperclip is.
Well, no, but Adam
Right, if you
But if you
burn
burn it, you
burn it
can
at the end.
sterilize it.
Do you
Yeah, I
not
don't
remember
know.
in college when you kept cauterizing your burn? Was that that was in
That
Key
was one
West?
of those poor life choices. The Key West.
Well, let's hear it.
All right,
Everyone wants to know.
Last
What'd you
one, and
have?
then we got to go. Go ahead, Ed.
Yeah, so we're in Key West.
For spring break.
For spring break.
We drove down through the hurricane.
We drove
In
down.
the snowstorm.
We saw it snow when we got to Florida.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was the storm of the century.
It was Hurricane Andrew, I think, right?
Oh, 92.
Yeah, I think we ended up getting like 3 feet back in the Northeast.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Oh,
we
wow.
just drove.
It would have been
right through
93
it.
because we were graduating.
Yeah, 93. Yeah, 93. Yeah, that's exactly it.
Well, then it
Well, he's
wasn't.
a-
Then maybe it wasn't Andrew. It could have been another one. Who
cares?
My memory
Andrew.
sucks.
I want to hear about
Go.
the blood
he said
and guts.
2000. He said 92.
Go.
Oh, so I think we're in the bathroom, and I didn't want to touch it in the paper towel dispenser where you touch it with your hand. And so I went to go touch it with my wrist because I just washed my hands. And so I went to go touch it and with my wrist. And as I was kind of pushed the lever down, I guess the gear or something was sticking out. The lever wasn't, quite covered. And so I cut myself here on the wrist. And I was like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? So I figured, no problem. Let me just cauterize it. So I think it was it a match that I used?
I think you've done it like 10 times, like every day.
Wait,
you do it.
let's back up. Why wouldn't you're in the bathroom? You got soap. Why wouldn't you just wash it?
Well, you wash your hands.
Yeah, throw some duct tape on it or some Band-Aid if you got one.
No, we were on spring break. We didn't have anything. We just barely had enough clothes. And I
didn't
had
have
to
enough
leave,
money for food.
Yeah, and I had to leave early because I remember I had a interview for grad school. So I
Got it.
So we basically had just minimal stuff.
But most people, when they get a cut, they don't cauterize the wound. So why were you?
But he cauterized it
cauterizing
like
the
10
wound?
times. That was the problem.
Yeah, I think that's probably it.
Would it not stop bleeding?
I don't.
Gotta be cautious, just in case.
Remember this? Remember this? Cautious.
Yeah, I don't know if it was
Cautious?
10 times. That seems excessive, but I think it was a couple times.
5.
Yeah. Yeah, because I wasn't quite sure if it was done.
So you were using matches.
I think it was a match that I ended up using. Yeah, it wasn't a good choice. Not advisable.
All right. I'm sure there's more of those stories we can talk about some other time. But I think that's a wrap for today. So thanks for all the stories, guys.
Thank you.
All right.
We never had any sweethearts.
We're not on video.